Hey Boundless Nation, this is Tyler here from Boundless Fitness and Nutrition. This week I'm going to take you through a core strengthening class, and the movements are specifically derived from Dr. Stuart McGill, who is the world's leading back expert. So these three exercises can be done for a broad range of population, from elite level powerlifters all the way to a retiree who's simply looking for health of the spine. So the whole goal of these exercises is, unlike doing a sit-up, which is technically a core strengthening exercise, when you do a sit-up, you are flexing your back. So when we're doing this, you can see how I'm actually putting a little bit of strain on my back. So instead of training like that, we're going to be doing movements where we're keeping the spine nice, tall, and straight, and we're working on strengthening those positions so that you can be strong throughout the rest of your life. Okay? The first exercise we're going to do is called a bird dog. So the bird dog will start in a tabletop position. So your knees are going to be right underneath your hips. You're going to push your toes into the floor, push your hands into the floor, hands underneath the shoulders, and we want to keep that back nice and flat. Before you lift an arm or leg, I want you to contract or tighten your stomach, and then we're going to push through the right heel without opening up through the hip. Okay, so we're pushing through the right heel, keeping that core turned on, holding up to 10 seconds. So keep hanging out here with me. Keep that hip down. Try not to open it up like a peeing dog. And as you lower your knee, we're going to try to just move through the hip and not the back, and press it straight out again. If you're still following along and you're finding that moving just one leg isn't quite challenging enough, we're going to lift the opposite arm, drawing a nice straight line. Again, really focusing on firing up that belly. And bring it in for one more time. Elbow toward the knee, push out, thumb up, keeping our hips nice and square and shoulder, squeezing through the core, making sure everything's rigid. That's the whole point of these drills. And slowly coming down. And now we'll go to the opposite side. So let's start with a single leg. You're going to push through the heel, keeping your hips square to the floor. Chin tucked, head straight. Okay, we're holding. So squeezing through that glute, tightening up your belly. And slowly bring the knee down, hovering just above the floor. And now we're going to go arm and leg if you can. If you find that this is very difficult, you can stick to moving just the leg. Or you can try moving just the arm. It's also a very difficult variation. And lower, one more rep. Elbow to the knee. Reach, driving through the heel. Making sure you're checking in on that hip. And we want to keep it square to the floor. And down, nice and slow. Alright, for our next exercise, you're going to lay flat on your back. We're going to do what's called a curl up. So you're laying flat on your back. We're going to tuck or place the left foot on the floor and straighten out the right leg. You're going to take both of your hands and slide them underneath the small of your back. And then you're going to push your spine down into your hands. Okay, from here, we're tightening up the belly as if somebody was going to step on it. And then without pressing the forearms into the ground, we're going to lift the chest, keeping the chin tucked, holding, staying nice and tight, and then slowly coming down. Okay, and tighten, up. Keep your chin tucked down. Try not to press your head forward. That's going to take your spine out of alignment. And down. And one more time. Up. Hold, try not to press down too much into the ground. You can even lift your elbows, make it harder. And down, and switch feet. Right foot flat on the floor, straighten out your left leg. Hands still stay into the back. Pressurize your stomach, and lift. Down. And pressurize, lift. And down. One more time. Lift. Lift those elbows if you like. And down. Excellent work. Okay, we're going to come into the side plank. So as we go through this, I'll just take you through a couple variations. So the first one is forearm on the floor, elbow underneath the shoulder, and then we want to draw a nice straight line from the top of the head all the way to the knees if you're going to do this from your knees. Okay, the legs are going to be stacked. I'm going to bring my hand to my hip, and then I'm lifting my hip up, and we're going to hang out here for 30 seconds. If this progression isn't challenging enough for you, continue holding for those who it is. Then you're going to go heel toe on the floor like so, making sure that you're still elevating your hip. We want to try not to let that hip fall. That's the whole purpose of the drill. If this is still not quite challenging enough, go ahead and stack your feet. Okay, continue holding. And a few seconds left. And the goal is to keep the spine flat. So you can see how I was kind of looking down. That's a mistake. So I want to keep my spine long, which includes my head. And of course I didn't turn on a timer. And lower. We're going to switch sides. Moving over to our right side. Remember, you can start from your knees if you like, with the heel toe position or your feet stacked. Elbow underneath the shoulder. Nice straight line and lift. Okay, we want to imagine connecting the bottom rib to the hip. So we're staying very rigid through the side body. And down with control. Nice work. And we're going to come back to the bird dog. So starting back at our tabletop position, making sure we're contracting through the belly. First one we're going to do, if you started on the single leg last time, let's try a single arm. So you're going to lift your arm off the floor, thumb up. For those of you who don't find this challenging enough, go ahead and straighten the opposite leg, keeping your hip down. And in with control, nice and slow. Really work on contracting, tightening through your stomach the whole time. And in, one more time. Out, pushing through the heel, squeezing your bum. Last one here before we switch. And down. Right. So we're switching sides. So this time we're going to elevate the right arm. Nice and slow. Taking away that one balance point. Staying tight through the belly. If you like, we're going to straighten out the opposite leg. Pushing through the heel. Staying very tight throughout. If you'd like to add a different element to this movement on the last rep, I'll show you how. Bring it in, And straighten slow. Okay, so one thing you can try with the hand is to draw small circles. You can also try the same thing with your foot, so long as you don't start opening up through the hip. Okay, bring it in. One last time. And lower. Good job. Okay, we're going back to the curl up. So we're going to place the hands underneath the small of the back. One foot, right foot flat on the ground. Okay, remember we want to keep our chin tucked, so we're going to tighten up through the belly, lift, and lower, lift, and lower. If you want the harder variation, keep those elbows off the floor, chin tucked, and lower. Switch feet. Pressurize through the belly, lift, and lower, lift, and lower. Last one, lift, and lower. Beautiful work. Okay, back to our side plank. So we're going to come up to the elbow right underneath the shoulder, nice straight line through the body, hand on the hip, lift, so while you're here, it shouldn't necessarily be relaxed. You're still really working on tightening up through the belly as much as you absolutely can, particularly through the side body. And lower. Switch sides one more time. And lift, keeping everything nice and tight through the side of your body, hand on the hip. Okay, we want to keep the hips stacked, so we're trying not to let the hip fall back or the bum fall backward. Keep hanging on, you're almost done. And lower. Okay, and relax. So go ahead and take a sip of water. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's class using the McGill Big 3. To see how to progress the exercises further, how to make this difficult or less difficult, please click the video description below, and there will be a very thorough description of how to progress and regress the exercises. You can also send me a message or an email at info@boundlessfitnessandnutrition.ca with any questions you may have, and I'd be happy to answer. I hope you enjoyed this week's class, and we'll see you soon.